My name's Annette Buchanan. My husband Ian and I did an advanced healthcare plan. Ian has since passed away, but having that advanced healthcare plan available to us, and since then I have done mine, and I think that it's a very important document that everyone should complete. I first found out about the service when I was doing a search online to find out about palliative care, and there was a link to a seminar which we both attended, and by the time we got to do the advanced care directive, Ian had gone back into hospital. So the officer then offered to come to the hospital and do the advanced healthcare directive in the hospital, which made it much easier, and we focused on Ian that day, and the officer talked us through it and explained how you needed to put it in both medical and legal language so that it was appropriate. In terms of Ian, he was ill and had been ill for some time, so we had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen, and it made it very easy in terms of family, because we knew there would be no doubt about what he wanted. From my point of view, I've got decisions to make about my life, and having that in place has made it easier in terms of the boys knowing what I want. Ian was in and out of hospital quite a lot, and at the beginning of May he had a relapse, and we rushed him to emergency at Fiona Stanley Hospital, and he subsequently deteriorated rapidly, and there was a code blue and all the doctors came, and I had grabbed the advanced healthcare directive as we raced out the door. I showed it to the doctors and said, "Do you need to read this? These are Ian's wishes." And the doctor had a quick look through it and said, "Nothing that we're going to be doing now we won't go against any of Ian's wishes in this." Things got worse, he deteriorated, and so we brought him home for his last days. Towards the end of that period, at first he was able to communicate with us, but then later it got worse, and he was getting more and more ill. And so we were able to use that advanced healthcare directive to stress to the doctors that these were Ian's wishes, and that he wanted to die with dignity. And so we were very, very clear about what he wanted, and we could also communicate with medical people about this is what Ian wanted. And so ultimately they respected that, and we were able to be with him, and he passed peacefully, surrounded by his family, exactly as he would have wanted to be. But I didn't actually know him until he got ill, and watched the way he handled that. Knowing that Ian had expressed very clearly what he wanted often was very important for me, because we had to make some very split-second decisions at times, and I had to be able to communicate those to family, and it was made easier because it was on paper, and so we could speak to the doctors and say, this is what he wanted. I could say to family, this is what Dad wanted. I think it's really important for anyone, and it's a bit like when you say about making the most of life. Ian and I were constantly saying to people who said, oh, we'll go off and have a holiday next year, we'd say, if you're going to do it today, because you might not have tomorrow. And I think that's the same with that sort of planning. It needs to be done sooner rather than later, because you might not have later. It makes me feel very secure in the fact that everybody knows what I want, and so it's not going to cause division between the people that love me. And so I can then go on and do the silly things that I want to do, secure in the knowledge that people know what I want to happen if the worst happens.